Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to discuss about the client-side service discovery pattern. Actually, in the previous video, we covered about the what is the service discovery pattern and what is the use of it on how where we are going to use this in the microservice architecture. In this video, we are going to understand how many types of the service discovery pattern is divided, and in that we are going to discuss the first one. So, if you take the service discovery pattern, it is divided into two parts. Okay, two types. First one is a client side service discovery pattern. Second one is server side service discovery pattern. So first, before discussing these two things, first discuss about the service discovery pattern high level. So actually, the service discovery pattern we are going to use like to identify the service information dynamically. That means, like, let's say example, you have the two services. What are the two services? You have the order service and inventory service. If order service want to interact with the inventory service, what are the details we require? We require the that application IP. I mean, the inventory server is going to run in somewhere, right? So that IP address and port. So to get this IP address and port, we are not going to directly hard code this information in the order service. Instead of hard coding that one, we are going to depend on the service registry. We'll ask service registry what is the details of the inventory service. Service registry will give that information and will use those information to make the call to the inventory service. So this is the high level of the service registry, but this is divided into two types. What are the two types? This is divided into, one is the client side service discovery pattern and server side service discovery pattern. Let's assume you have the two services, order service and inventory service. Okay, let me open the paint once. Now in our case we have the two services. Okay, this is our service, this is the one more service. Okay, then what is the first service name? We have the first service as a order service. Take example of the order service. Okay, now I have the order service. At the same time I have the one more service, that is the inventory service. Okay, this is going to be inventory service. Okay, now usually if a order service want to interact with the inventory service, how it is going to interact? So if order service want to interact with the inventory service directly without using the service registry. So if it want to interact with the order service to inventory service, what are the information it require? It require the IP address and port. But now in our case, what we are going to use this, so if you use this way, we are going to hard code the IP address and port in order service, but we are not going to follow that pattern. So we are going to make this in configuration information dynamic pattern. That means whenever you want to interact with the order service to inventory service, we are not directly interacting with the inventory service first. We are going to interact the service registry and we'll get the information of the inventory service. Okay, right? Then delete this one. Then order service is running on the some service and port. So this is the order service IP 123.156.989.63. Okay, this is the port. It is running on the port 8585. At the same time, inventory services is also going to run on the, okay, and service name. What is the service name we are going to give? Inventory IS. We are going to give the name as a IS. Okay, we are good, right? Now similarly we need to give the one name to the order service also, right? So we are going to give the name as a service name equal to OS. Now we have the two services. One is the order service, another one is inventory service. Order service is running on the this server, and this is the information, and this is the order service name, and inventory service also similarly we have the details. Now let's talk about the client service discovery pattern. What client service discovery pattern says: client-side service discovery refer to the process where the client of microservice is responsible for discovering the location of the service it need to communicate with. This is done by acquiring the service registry to obtain the list of available instances of the microservice, and the client selects an appropriate instance to send request. That means, okay, that means if you want to understand this sentence completely, let me explain you one by one. Okay, now as per this diagram we have the two services. These are the two services. Now we are planning to implement the service discovery pattern. If you want to implement the service discovery pattern, we need to create one more service. The service we are going to call as a service registry. The service registry, it is like, in case we can use the Eureka. Okay, we have one more service, that is a service registry. Okay, this is our service. This is the our service registry. Okay, this is a service registry. This is a service registry means this is the server. You can think this is the server. This is the server, and these two services are the clients. Okay, these two we can call as a client. This is the client application. Okay, this is the client. At the same time, this is also client only. This is also client only. So in the first step, what it's saying, so let's see. Each microservice register itself with a service registry such as Eureka or console. In our case, we are going to use the Eureka. Eureka is one of the open source. It is providing the Spring Cloud. So we are going to use the Eureka as our service registry. Either we can use the console also. In our later sessions, while we are practically building the service registry, we will implement the both. First we'll prefer the Eureka, then after we can use the console also. Okay, so in this step, what is happening here? So like, where this is the service registry as a server, these are the two clients. Whenever you start your order service, it is going to register, all the information in the service registry. For registering all the information to the service registry, we need to do some sort of the configuration, and we need to add some dependencies related to the service registry. Okay, those we'll discuss mostly in the practical session. Okay, now just focus on the only theoretical thing. What is the meaning of this client side service discovery, how it will work? Okay, so now whenever you start this order service, it is going to store this all information in the service registry. Okay, it is going to store all information in the service registry. In the service registry, what we are going to have? We are going to have the context. Like, you can assume like, you can assume like this is the context. Okay, in this context, it is going to store all the information. It is going to store the it is going to show the all the information of the service here. Okay, so it is going to say OS and the respect to IP and port. Dot 36 and port. Just assume it is going to store the information like this. Okay, and whenever you start the inventory service also, it is going to store those information: is 123.56.89.36 and port 8585. So in the context, it is going to store the all the information. Okay, that means now you started the inventory service also going to store the same information. The required metadata information into the context. Okay, it store the all the information into the context. Okay, so now this is the server and this is a client and this is a client. This is a one client, the second client. Now we have the one service registry we can call this is a server, and we have the clients. How many clients we have? We have the two clients. Whenever this service is running, it is going to store all this metadata information into the service registry. Service registry will store the information in the context. Okay, now order service want to interact with the inventory service. Now, if order service want to interact with the inventory service, what it is going to do is, so order service first will call the service registry. Okay, first it will call the service registry and it will get the all the information. What are the information in service registry? Already we have the order service inventory service information, right? It will get this inventory service information and it will make a call to the inventory service. It will directly make a call to the inventory service. First it will call to the service registry. Okay, after calling the service registry, what it will do, it will get the all the metadata information is required to interact with the inventory service. So it will get all the information. Once it got the all the required information, it is going to call the inventory service. It will call the inventory service to get the appropriate information which is required by the order service. That means here the client itself, it is directly interacting the service registry. Okay, so there is no mediator between the service registry and the client. So here the client itself, it is going to directly interacting the service registry to get the all the information related to the inventory service. That means here client is taking the more responsibility. Okay, so the client itself, it is taking the responsibility to get the other service information. That's we are going to call as a client side service discovery pattern. Okay, then let's assume you have one more inventory service. This is your one another inventory service. Okay, so this is your another inventory service. This is your another inventory service, and you are going to have the similarly you are going to have the information. It is going to deploy in the another system 120.56.89.36. 36 previously it is 36, right? Sorry, I think you can make this as a 35, not 36. Dot 35. This is a 35. This is 36, and it is IP 123.56.89.37. Now we are deploying the some other port, and IP is 8586. Okay, and similar name also we are going to give the same name. If we give the different name, it is going to treat as a different service. Okay, if we give the same name, then only it is going to add the same information for the same service. Okay, so if we deploy, it will treat as a another independent service. So we are not deploying the another independent service. What we are doing, we have the load in the inventory service. Now our intention is we need to distribute this load to the distribute, I mean, to achieve this load balancing. What we are doing here, we are deploying the inventory service in the two missions. Okay, when request come to order service first interact with the 36 server, then after 37 server. like that you need to distribute the information. Okay, if you want to distribute the info like this, what you have to do, do it, you need to maintain the service name as a same, but the application will be deployed into the two servers. So here it will, whenever the service is started, similarly it is going to call the service registry, and it is going to give all the metadata information to the service registry. Service registry will store this information also, and we have in the context already we have the inventory service. On the inventory service itself only, it is going to add this IP and port information also. That means now our system, our service registry has the two server two server information of the inventory service. We have the inventory service, but it is deployed in the two systems. That means we have the two instance. So it has that information now. 156.89.37 and port is 8586. I mean, either you can use the same port. Here I'm using 8585, I'm using 8585. So why? Because these are running under the different machines. That's why we won't get any port issue. Okay. So it is running on the 8586. So once you started, it is going to interact with the service registry, and service registry, it will store the all the information under the IS service name. So in client say what client service discovery pattern will do, the client's discovery pattern will do, the client itself directly will call the service registry to get the all the required information. Okay, now order service want to interact with the inventory service, then order service make a call to the service registry. Now order service got the two informations. What are the two server information? It got the 36 server information and 37 also. Now order service will take the decision which service, which instance, not service, which instance it need to call. So by default it will follow the round robin algorithm. If you want you can change it, but the client itself, it will take the responsibility of the distributing the load also. Okay, so now you understand, right, what client side service discovery pattern. The client side service discovery pattern, the client itself, it will take the responsibility of the getting the all the service information. Okay, it will take the responsibility of the getting the all the service information directly. It is going to interact with the service registry. The second one is, it will take the responsibility of the distributing the load also. Okay, distributing the load also. So this is the client side service discovery pattern. Let's go to this one. Okay, now here imagine you are running on the online shopping platform with two main services. Okay, fine. First is the order service and second one is the inventory service. These two services may be running on the different machines or different parts of the system, and you want to you don't want to hard code their locations. So that was right. So if you want to use the service discovery pattern, the main intention is we don't want to hard code the URL. Okay, instead of use client side discovery to dynamically find the communication with each service. That means instead of hard coding the URLs, we are going to use the client side discovery pattern to dynamically find the IP address and port of the respective services, and we can communicate with that. In the first step, what it is doing, service first the service registry setup. That means each microservice reached itself with a service registry, such as the service registry which we are going to use Eureka when it's up. That means whenever the service is running, it is going to register those metadata information to the service registry. In the client side, now when a service A needs to talk with the service B, it doesn't know where the service B is running. Okay, definitely we are not going to hard code the information, right? That's why the service A don't know the information. So then instead of the hard coding the address service A, it will ask the service registry. Now it will make the call to the service registry. What is the information of the service B? Once it has got the information of the service B, it is going to interact the service A. Whatever we discussed, that I prepare the notes. So I will post these notes in my WhatsApp group. If anybody want to see these notes, you can ping in WhatsApp group, then I will post in there. Okay, what it brings? Load balancing. What I say, we discussed, right? So in the here we have the two inventory services. Order service is going to take the responsibility to distribute the load between the this inventory service and this inventory service. Okay, the server side discovery pattern.